Long before you ever tapped Add Tip on a screen or left coins on a cafe table, tipping began in a very different world. The story starts in medieval Europe around the 1400s, when wealthy travelers stayed in the homes of nobles or large inns. Guests would give small sums of money to servants before leaving, not as a reward for service, but as a request for special attention in the future. It was a way of saying, "Take care of me next time." These early tips were called vales, and they were a symbol of social class more than generosity. As time passed, this habit moved into English coffee houses and taverns during the 1600s. Small boxes were placed near the entrance with a sign that read, "To ensure promptness." People would drop a coin in before being served, hoping the staff would be quicker and more attentive. Whether this phrase truly created the word tip is debated, but the idea is clear. Tipping was connected to faster and better service. It was not about kindness, it was about buying priority. By the 1700s, tipping had become a popular custom among the British upper class. When rich families visited friends or stayed at country estates, they would give money to servants as a show of status. The bigger the tip, the more powerful and important the guest appeared. This practice slowly spread to hotels, restaurants, and carriage drivers. It was a way for the wealthy to remind everyone that they were above those serving them. Then something interesting happened. Tipping crossed the ocean and arrived in the United States in the late 1800s. But instead of being welcomed, it was heavily criticized. Many Americans believed tipping was undemocratic. They felt it created a servant class and encouraged workers to beg for money instead of being paid fairly by their employers. Some newspapers even called tipping a form of corruption. After the Civil War, tipping suddenly became widespread. Hotels and restaurants hired newly freed black workers but refused to pay them proper wages. Instead, they told customers to tip them. This meant businesses saved money, while workers depended on the generosity of strangers to survive. Over time, this system became normal in restaurants, trains, and hotels across America. By the early 1900s, tipping was no longer just a custom, it had become part of the economy. Laws were written that allowed employers to pay tipped workers far less than the regular minimum wage. The idea was that tips would make up the difference. This created the tipping culture we see today, where a customer is expected to support the worker directly. Meanwhile, in other parts of the world, tipping followed a different path. In Japan, tipping was considered rude because good service was seen as a basic duty, not something that should be rewarded with extra money. In many European countries, service charges were included in the bill, so tipping became small and optional. But in places like the United States, tipping turned into an unspoken rule. Today, tipping has gone far beyond restaurants. We tip food delivery drivers, taxi drivers, hotel staff, and even people online who create content. Apps now suggest tip amounts before you even receive the service. What started as a small coin for future favor has become a global system that affects how millions of people earn their living. So when you leave a tip today, you are not just saying thank you, you are participating in a tradition that began hundreds of years ago, shaped by class, power, and economics. A simple gesture at the end of a meal carries the weight of history, reminding us that even the smallest coins can tell a very big story.